Welcome to FacingMelsMusic.com podcast, featuring some of the most heartwarming stories from musicians all around the world on FacingMelsMusic.com.
A very warm welcome, Victoria Simmonds. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Lovely to meet you. Singer-songwriter. And am I right, you're an actress as well?
Yes, and
Ooh.
voiceover.
And voiceover. Ooh, very, very good. Okay. But you've had a new release, haven't you?
Yes, on the 17th of October.
Right. October Girl.
It was the perfect time to release it.
It definitely makes sense. How are you feeling about it?
Good. I've had some really, really nice reviews. So That's a positive, definitely.
Nice. Good. Yeah, it's got a lovely feel, and I will play it. If you don't mind me saying, I mean, I love the chord progression on that. It's just really quite magical, and there was something kind of James Bondy about that.
Yes.
Have you had comments on this?
A few, yeah.
Okay. So, this is rather James Bond. Yeah.
Yeah, it started off not technically wanting to be a James Bond song, and then it kind of progressed, and then we went, okay, so it's James Bond, we'll just embrace it.
Well, you know, they say the song writes itself, you know, so you're just allowing it to just be, and that's really good. It's wonderful. So no, let's learn a little bit about you and your career and when you started. Tell me a little bit about when you started to get into music. You know, how old were you, and what was that like? I mean, are we talking about school days? I mean, how far back are we going?
I think it's one of those cases where I could sing before I could talk, basically.
Yes.
My dad is also a singer, so it was just natural for me to think, oh, well, I'm singing, and go from there. And I did loads of singing and drama at school, and it progressed from there. And then when I got to 15, 16, my dad would allow me to go up on stage with him.
Right.
And that progressed. So now we do things all together.
How lovely.
And writing wise, I reckon I was 16 to 18 when I was actually writing.
Right. Okay.
And it only was in 2016 that I was able to start recording.
Okay. Very specific. Okay.
Very specific, yes.
Very, very specific. Okay, so 2016. So how did that, okay, tell me about that first experience of going into, I take it was a proper recording studio, a professional recording studio, was it? Or was it not? Okay.
No,
tell me about it.
It's technically a home studio because it is at home.
Right.
But the recording equipment is not home equipment. It is actually proper
professional
recording equipment.
Okay.
But
what was it like?
my dad actually sold a house to my now co-collaborator, music producer, Paddy.
Yep. Right.
And they got talking and said, oh, I like music, I want to do some production. And he said, oh, my daughter is a singer and got loads of songs to record. And it sort of came into one.
How lovely.
And we managed to start working together.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great. And what was it like, the whole experience of getting your songs onto, you know, to hearing them back in a recording? What was that like? Can you remember?
Very strange.
Right.
Because you have this idea in a song and you think, oh, well, it just went like that. I played it at home a few times on the guitar and I recorded it on my computer and it sounded all right. You know, it's not too bad. And then somebody else puts a load of guitar with it and maybe some more instruments and more instruments. And you think, actually sounds like a song now. And then they say, well, would you like to sing it in a slightly different way? Would you like to do some harmonies on that? And you... like you were building from start and we're thinking, wow, there's all these new things I can do. Let's try them out, see what works. And it's really exciting to start on that journey.
Definitely. It's really, it sort of unfolds, doesn't it? So this concept that you had in a very raw state, and then you're taking it and bit by bit layering it, the production, and then testing it out with different vocal techniques, different approaches. And that would have been a very interesting exercise for you. Did anyone produce you vocally, or did you get sort of directed to sing it or try singing it like this and that? Was it Paddy who was doing that?
It was both of us going, okay, this is what I want to do. What do you think? Yeah. And it was really a collaborative process. And then I would turn around and go, you know what? I could sing it like this because I know my voice will bend, if you like, and reach these notes, or slur it one way. And then he would say, well, in that case, can you do this? And I think, oh, I've never tried it. I'll have a go. And actually it does work. So each of you have as an idea, and it's truly a collaboration. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And it's an experiment. You have to experiment. It's interesting, isn't it? And I mean, does it feel exciting to experiment, or do you feel a bit sort of worried about things? What's your take on it? Okay. Yeah. I definitely, at the moment, I definitely do strange things with harmonies. Okay. I record about 8 harmonies. We might use 4 or 5 because I end up going, okay, how low can I go? Now, how high can I go? Can I do it more dramatic or soft? Right. Experiment with all these different textures, yes. And see what works. Oh, it sounds like you really love it. You're really enjoying the process and you're really loving it. I do. Oh, that's lovely. And you say, obviously, you're a songwriter. So I'm talking, I guess that's lyrics and that's also melody for you as well? It's both. Yeah. I don't play instruments well enough, I feel, that they get recorded or put on stage. But to write a song, I'm happy on the guitar and on the piano. So the melody's there, and then I just say, this is how it sounds. What can you do with it? Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So it's the songwriting. So that's really interesting. And obviously you're loving it. What comes naturally to you? I mean, or do they come both as naturally as each other, the lyrics or melody? What's that process like for you? I think I always say that it's a 50-50 split. But I think possibly the words come to me easier than the melody. Right. Although humming a tune is perfectly fine. And then I go, oh, well, these words could go with it. But a lot of the time, especially at the moment, something will happen and I need to write about it. Yes. I've written letters to people, not sent them necessarily, but written almost articles, and then leave them for a bit, go back to them and go, okay, I found about 3 different songs in here. Yeah. It's so interesting, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. And then that's your material that you've recorded. Yeah, it is. In a moment in time. Sometimes you do wake up and go, I had this melody in my head, get your phone out and have to sing a melody. Right. Yes. Yeah. So dreaming songs, do they come to you in dreams? Right. Yes. That's sometimes an unfortunate event because you wake up at 3:00 in the morning going, I have to write this down. Yes. Yeah. Or record it and the voice isn't even awake yet. Yeah. Yes. But it's always a good one, I think. It's very, I think, dream music is kind of an interest of mine as well. In dream. They do say that a lot of creatives and even scientists used to take naps in the middle of the day or something to get a more of an ideal space and relax their brain so that more ideas would come in. And sometimes I think that's the same with songwriting. Interesting. So go to sleep. Is that the answer? Yes. Well, I'm all for the excuse. I'm all for that. I have to sleep because I need to work. Yeah. Sorry, you want me to work? Got to take a nap. Perfect. I think it's absolutely spot on. Absolutely. So tell me also, I mean, we'll get to your songs in a minute. We're going to get into the nitty-gritties of just like, what they mean, what's this about, But I'm very interested
interested in the fact that you've got a degree in theatre studies.
I do.
Ooh. Tell me about that. Okay, tell me about what that was like and how that's kind of playing into your life now or your career now.
Well, it started, I've always wanted to do theatre, drama, anything that went along some creative performance line. And I started I think I started when I was 15, 16, and you had to pick something at school. And I didn't like the idea of doing certain things at school. So I picked fashion.
Okay.
Because I thought I'd like to go into costume design.
Right.
And then once I'd finished that, I realized I didn't want to do fashion and costume design, even though I love doing costume design.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to be backstage. I want to be on stage. It's not enough just to be backstage.
Interesting.
So then I decided, okay, I want to do something more theatre. At the time, I wasn't film orientated, so it was definitely going towards theatre.
Yeah.
And I actually did, as theatre studies, it's a lot more of the text, understanding the plays and things like that, rather than acting.
Okay.
It's much more. It was much more of a technical side.
Right.
But I was learning all sorts of sides of the industry, which is actually quite important. So when you're working in it, and it was from there that I almost was able to enhance the writing, if you like, because beforehand I would just write something down, and now I have something inside me is able to express it in a better way after doing that, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely. But you're not actually, okay, in terms of using, I mean, what would that degree be used for in terms of work-wise or career-wise? What role would that actually give you? I guess is what I'm asking.
You use it in theatre just because it wasn't actual stage acting. It doesn't mean that it's not going towards acting. I suppose it's more geared for writing and management.
Oh, right.
But then you decide, okay, I still need more creative in my life. So
yes, okay. So
it's probably taking me a slightly longer way round to get to where I want to get to.
Nice.
But I'm learning so much at the same time. I don't think that it matters too much.
No, it doesn't. It's I know exactly what you mean. It's like taking the long way round.
Yeah. And who knows, one thing won't work. You know that something's not going to work. But at the same time, you can always say, well, you know what, I've got all of this experience in performing. And I also learned to do the management side and the directing side beforehand. So I can actually do that again. And I've got skills now that I can use later. So I think it will all come in useful. Yes.
Never wasted time, ever.
No,
never. But it's great that it's still in an industry that you want to be in, and if it's performing arts, basically.
And having it from a reputable college.
Yes.
I went to Rose Bruford, and being able to tell someone, anybody in the industry, that it was Rose Bruford Theatre Studies, then automatically they say, we know exactly what that course was. We know exactly what your level is.
Right.
And we will take you to this level instead of a lower level.
Amazing. So, that's great. How many years did it take to do?
3.
3 standard, sort of 3 to 4. Yeah, great. No, that's really
done an extra year, I think, but I decided.
Yeah. you probably made your mind up that you wanted to be more on stage. And
yeah, by then it was in my mind, and I thought, I don't want to do another year of this. I've got to a good stage. I think I'll go and get the practical rather than the theoretical.
Yeah. And in terms of acting, I mean, what have you done in terms of acting? Have you featured in anything? Have you done?
I started off in a lot of musical theatre.
Right.
I think that's my baseline for everything.
Yes. Okay.
It combines both, and then I split them up.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I've done a few things on stage. And then I've done a few bits on film, not huge parts, but still things that I'm quite proud of. So
good. And do you have any intention to pursue maybe more acting in the future, or you focus more on music at the moment?
I'd like to in the future. It's something that I'll never stray from, because it is another part of me in my performance world, if you like.
Yeah.
So I actually, when I started doing film, I suddenly realized that I really liked it. I didn't think I would enjoy it because it's so different from theatre. And then I suddenly realized that I can be a lot more natural in this sense. Maybe it was the parts I was playing, but it felt a lot more natural, whereas on stage I really felt I was playing a role. It was... Who knows? It may just be the situation I was put in.
Interesting. And what sort of like genre would you say? I mean, were you in sort of more, was it drama based?
The last film I did was, it's not a documentary, but it's based on real life.
Okay.
So it was quite a natural story, if you like.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But it feels like you do enjoy that, and that is something that is a part of you. But it feels like you get something else out of writing and recording your music.
Yeah, that's another level.
Yes.
It's another level completely.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what that level is? Where does it take you? What does it put you on?
I can't say like it's taking drugs, but it's almost, well, maybe I can, but
rock and roll.
But it's sort of fiery, if I'm going to describe it, because you get this. When you're doing film and theatre, in general, it's written by someone else and you're performing someone else's character.
Exactly. Yeah.
When I'm writing, I'm talking about myself and trying to get out these feelings. I mean, there are things that I've written recently and people have said, oh, do you have any songs that we can work on? And I've looked at these songs when I'm not ready to sing that. It's too raw. I can't do that. I'll take something from a year, 2 years ago. But what happened in the summer, I can't talk about that.
Right.
But that's raw emotion. Yes. And then when you sing it, it brings it back and it makes it even bigger, but you know you're dealing with it. So it makes it even bigger, semi-magical. Magical is more at the end when you realize that this is a production that you've done, you've created from the beginning, and now other people, it might help other people, they might be able to understand, they might take something from it. And that's it's so much bigger. Yeah.
It feels more emotional.
Very much.
Much more emotional, like really authentically your stuff. You know,
definitely.
And you must feel that. And it's funny you mentioned the word dealing with it. That just came up in another interview, funnily enough, about dealing with your own content. So when you write, I take it you're pulling from your own stuff, your own life, your own feelings, your own emotions, which is really brave. It's like a counselling session in a song.
It is. It is.
But it's,
And often you say to people, if you want to know me, listen to my songs. The problem is with that, sometimes you've written something and they go, really, did you feel like that? And you sort of go, well, yeah.
And then you've got to deal with
that, but yes. And
then you've got to deal with them, their emotions.
I don't care about what they're, if they judge me, they judge me, but I'm fine with it now because I got over it.
Interesting. It is so interesting. And have you felt, talking on the emotional front, and when you have, has it been a process for you? For example, looking at one song. Has one song, I don't know if you could pick a song, maybe October Girl or maybe some before, that actually was really putting that, it was very risky, let's say, to put that story, those emotions out there. And then you go through that process of perfecting it, finishing it, completing it. Do you feel that it did anything emotionally for you? Like, was there any sense of completion or closure?
Closure. I wouldn't say closure.
Okay.
I think closure potentially will be some of the ones I've written recently. Or I think there was one I've written, it was all the way back in 2017, and I still haven't managed to put that one out. Sorry.
Oh, I wonder why that is. Okay.
I think when I put those out, they might be closure, but some of them, Teddy was definitely something that was more of so it had some sort of finality to the problem, if you like.
Okay. Yeah.
Putting something to bed, and the last song I recorded, Still a Long Way to Go, that came out in May.
Yes.
When I was practicing it in my bedroom, working out how I was going to sing it and breathe at the same time.
Well, that's useful.
It's useful. I actually sang it in front of my mum, and she burst into tears.
Oh.
Then I was, when I went to actually record it, we had to record several times because I flooded into tears.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
So,
right.
So that is the emotion that comes out, whether it becomes something that's closure. I don't know whether it's closure, because you keep listening to it and it'll bring it up again. So I'm not entirely sure it's closure.
Okay. Maybe worth pondering on that one a little bit. But worth asking. Some can be closure, some can be rebellious.
Yes.
Some can be anger coming out.
The anger ones you manage to sort of, instead of punching the wall and making a very nice wall, hole in the wall, or have a broken fist, you've actually managed to write the lyrics down, chuck them out the window, and scream at a microphone and get it all out.
Yes.
They always say, well, if you're angry, shout and get it all out. And I'm just doing that with a tad of a tune. Yes.
Well, yes, so much more. That's very, very nicely put. It's a wonderful tunes, and and you're talking about it being an outlet, which is so important to kind of recognise that writing, songwriting, recording, and performing. We'll come to that in a minute. Is a form of an outlet. So whether it is seeking some kind of closure, whether you're making a point, whether you're wanting to remember, because it might be that you just want to remember and never want to forget, even if it's a bad thing. Melancholic or something, and it feels like this tearful song that you're talking about may have brought up stuff that obviously your mum can also remember. Maybe there's something in that. I don't know much about it. I'm just sort of surmising here. I will play it though, actually, if that's okay with you. I will play it. It sounds amazing, and so it feels like it is very much a process. It's for you. It's a way of getting your stuff out, which is for most artists. And what do you hope that the listener will get from hearing your music?
Some of the songs that are stories, I hope that they maybe can see themselves in it. And these are some of the things that if I've got angry, they can say, well, you know what, I felt like that as well. And if I've gotten through something, maybe they'll say, well, if you'd got through it, maybe I can, and I can take the words and use them to rectify my situation. Some of them, you just want people to go, I think I can use that in my life. I think that's basically what you want.
Like the go-to song for them.
Go-to song, yeah. I had songs, I remember when I was a teenager, that I would put the CD on, put it up really loud, and I would sing at the top of my voice. I think it was Miss Dynamite. And I would really sing that when I was really angry. And there are often times I maybe haven't sung for a while, and I'll go into my room, sing for about an hour, 2 hours, and come out going, you know what, I feel so much better.
Yeah. Yes.
It's released something inside that I now feel, right, that's fine. I can go off and deal with my day.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. So singing has this real impact. Would you say it has more of an impact on you than acting does? Do you get the same release? Or, I mean, you said it was another level before. Maybe that's part of the other level, would you say?
Yeah, I think with the singing, it's, as you say, it's getting my stuff out of me. And with the acting, I'm taking on another character, which to me is trying to understand somebody else and show their feelings.
Yes.
And you can slightly detach yourself from that.
Yeah. You're talking about the frame of reference. So the frame of reference that you're in is in someone else's when you're acting, whereas when it's singing, and particularly singing your own stuff.
I try not to draw on quite so much of my personal experience and more of an understanding.
Yeah. Interesting. In terms of just looking here, I've got so many questions. Basically, okay, have there been any kind of blocks along the way, like emotional blocks or obstacles you've had to overcome, maybe at the same time as music, or even in your life, that maybe you've put into your music? Any kind of obstacles along the way, even if it is emotional? Or
lots of things that, I mean, you have writer's block. That's that's already one thing. But then sometimes I felt so bogged down or depressed. I don't know how to describe that to anybody. I don't know what words I should be using to tell someone that's how I'm feeling. And that actually makes it worse, because you don't know what to say, and you don't know how someone would be able to help you in return, because you can't explain it. And then actually managing to, after quite a while, you suddenly think, you know what, I know how to explain it now. And then all of a sudden you've got a rush of, of things going, well, this is what happened when I felt like that life was getting me down, that I was stuck to the floor. And some of them I felt like I was in a straitjacket for. So, you know, it's almost like my arms were behind my back and I couldn't move, but I couldn't explain it either. So then when you get released from that, you suddenly go, this is what I want to tell you that happened.
That's really interesting. You're talking about being understood and heard.
Very much.
Yeah. And sometimes it's really, you talk about depression. There's so much depression, and I have a lot of clients who have depression. I'm a therapist as well. So it is very hard to convey that into words. And I don't think that actually words always match up to the feeling.
No, but that's why we have the music to go with it.
Yeah.
Because when you can almost say that, okay, when I wanted to punch the wall, that's when in the music, you suddenly get a huge crescendo of all these different instruments coming in. And the music and melody is actually showing the feeling, and the words are describing in the best sense they can what that was. So you're using two different outlets.
Sort of formats, if you like, lyrics, music, or mediums, whatever the right word is. And then a visual to go with it, such as a video.
Yes. Those ones I'm not so good at.
Okay. Right. Do you have videos out at all? Do you have actually musical videos for your songs yet?
I have small ones that I've done, but I've never, I don't know, maybe the emotions are too raw for me to actually get in front of a camera and say, this is the face of me when I'm feeling like this. I don't know this. That, if you like, that is a block. I don't know.
Oh, it does sound like
how
one.
to do that.
Okay.
Maybe I should just get an actor into it instead of just me.
You could do, but it would be very powerful, as you are an actress as well, to kind of blend it in there. It'd be perfect. But, just even some of the visuals that you mentioned there, punching the wall and being in a straitjacket, they are such strong images that you could put in with your music if it's fitting, of course. That's kind of how I visualized it as you were saying it. So bear that in mind. Maybe this isn't the obstacle you need to get over.
It will.
Yeah. So in terms of like your plans, what are you planning? Because you do some live performances. I've seen you live. I've seen a little bit of live work. Very nice. How do you feel singing live? What's that like for you, that experience?
Oh, that's so much fun. You often get up to a stage and go, oh my goodness, there are people in front of me. And if you think about it, you suddenly panic. But as soon as you're actually performing it, you've got absolutely nothing that you're thinking of except what you're singing about. And unless there are people dancing in front of you and you're saying, yes, dance like this.
Yes.
But other than that, I'm saying, okay, I'm performing to you. I will show you what this music is, what it means to me. And if you like it, if you enjoy the performance, then that is brilliant.
Yeah. And it's a whole other experience, isn't it? Because you're dealing with a little bit of nerves, I guess, which is normal. I think it's normal that you just go in with a few butterflies. That's all right. But it's
healthy to have butterflies.
Very healthy.
If you don't have butterflies, then you're not doing it right.
Or you're not human. Or you're not human. No,
you don't
but absolutely.
care, or you're not passionate about your job. It's Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, all right, I'll just go and sing a song.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever come across anyone who's had that attitude. I really don't think I've come across anyone, thankfully, touch wood. But yeah, no, it feels so. Are you doing a lot of live stuff? I mean, are you regularly doing live work? Are you working?
I usually do at least, I've been doing one a month, just
that's good.
As a non-regular thing. But I'm hoping, 2023 has been such a crazy year for me. I've been sort of here, there, and everywhere, and not still finding my place, if you like.
Okay.
So I think I'm starting to say, okay, well, this is where I'm going, and I'm performing actual concerts now. In November, I'm in Lincoln. In January, I'm in France. So you sort of saying I'm cementing myself now.
Good.
I've got more of a focus.
Great. Good. And what about a team around you? Do you have a team of people around you who are helping you achieve?
Other than my family.
Yeah. Well, listen, don't knock them. They're a team,
No, do not knock them at all.
Oh, no, absolutely not. But do you have that kind of support? What's your support like to get you where you need to go? And even to arrange the gigs and stuff like that? Family?
I don't know what to say without offending anybody that has helped me, and then I don't recognize them.
Fine, don't worry, I can cut things out here. It's all safe.
I feel a lot of, having to do things on my own. I've had a lot of that most of my life. It's sort of like a feeling of, well, no one's going to do it for me. I have to do it on my own. Problem is, I've always just done it on my own. And I know my parents have been there the whole way and they've helped me so much. So in that sense, my parents are the true ones for me. Yeah. But a lot of my community, people that don't necessarily know me really well, but say, "Oh, Victoria, we know you, we love you." And I have a friend that listened to my music, and he went, "Well, did you know I write for this magazine every so often?" Like, no, I didn't know you did that. I'll write one for you, and I'll send off a review for you. Wow, thank you very much.
Results.
And suddenly, when you stop thinking that you're doing it all on your own, you realize how much people are actually either willing to help you that you have not wanted before, or have actually been helping you that you haven't noticed.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Well, it's the level of support, isn't it? I guess that's kind of what I'm looking for here, and it's because it's really, really important, this support, to feel supported. And funny enough, in another interview I had earlier, this artist said, "You just can't do everything alone. It's impossible."
No, you can't.
And it's so true, and I wanted to get your perspective on this. I mean, I know what I think. And
well, when I started saying, okay, I really want to push the music, I went to it's a music academy, but it's sort of a course, and they give you lots of lessons. You can ask a community. So in that sense, there's also a music community that have helped me if I've got a question. Yeah, I don't know how to use something, so I used that as a community. And then as I've gone on, more people have helped me. I had a podcast just to say, hello, this is my music. Since then I've progressed, and this is with the University of Lincoln. And suddenly in November, I'm going to be singing there, because I said to them, you know what, I've been doing lots of things with you. I've been with you every week. Why not? Let's get some of the people that we've done music with and put it all together. And suddenly I'm thinking, actually, this person has let me go to this spot. And if I let other people, if I let them in, then they can take you to a whole nother level, but you have to be willing to accept that, because as you say, you cannot do it on your own.
There you go. So it's time. This is so interesting from where I'm sitting. It really is. Because
I feel like if it's a therapy session, say, What's she thinking about me?
Slightly. It's all right. Just slightly.
What have I said?
No, you're doing beautifully. No, it's fine. It's all part of my research as well. You're a bit of a guinea pig, let's face it. Okay, so I'm just kidding. No, because I am really wanting to find out what artists' viewpoints are on this. Okay, and there is this fight with a bit of an internal battle with what's yours and what's, I say ego. It's kind of the possessive. This is mine and it's going my way, but you have to relinquish some of that sometimes to make things happen, and you need other hands and heads on board to make this product go the distance. And it feels like you are saying exactly the same as what others have said too. So it's interesting. It's very interesting.
It's because I didn't have the ability to say, I'm going to be here at this date, so can I go for a gig at a pub in this section? I didn't have the ability to do that. So I decided for certainly for the gig in France, I'm doing that. I'm renting the place. I'm doing the marketing. I'm doing it because I figured nobody else is going to hire me until I can prove that I can do something.
Yes.
So I'm doing it on my own.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
But when it gets slightly bigger, I'll be saying, I can't do all that.
No, that's right.
So with LinkedIn, I'm saying, let's do this.
Yeah.
But luckily they get to do a lot of the promotions and the finance, and so I get a slightly less responsibility.
Oh, it's wonderful, isn't it? I know.
Why am I not doing this more?
Yes, absolutely. It's lovely, but that's also a good sign that it's growing as well, isn't it? Yeah. It feels like that is also the result of when it's growing. I know because I'm in a similar thing for something else, but it's when you need help because it's becoming too much, and that's great. I think it's a good sign, positive sign. It's all about your mindset, how you see that. But very exciting. Yeah. And in terms of your aspirations, as in where are you heading with everything? What's your aspiration? What do you want to achieve, whether for yourself or whether for others? Is there a personal goal for this? Where you're going?
In long term, I don't have goals. There are obviously things that I love to achieve, and they're playing in wonderful theatres, being somebody that people recognise. Not necessarily being stopped in the street, but although that does happen in my town.
Oh, that's a start. Great. A star in your town.
Go around the supermarket and, aren't you the person I saw at the festival the other week?
Yep.
Yes. This is a very small community. But I've learned throughout the last, I'd say 10 years, to take every small thing as a win. And I wouldn't say to not expect too much from myself. It's not that, but always to continue pushing and say, okay, I can manage this level. I can reach that. And it's something that I know I feel like I can get to. And from there, once I've got there, then I will have something else to aim for. Maybe I have low levels of self-esteem, but
that's a whole other conversation.
But when I get there, it is what I do.
Yeah,
I know I've got that achievement.
That's okay. That's absolutely fine. Some people are very brave and think, no, I want to go there, and it's all out big. But it feels like you're setting some realistic goals here. And you're talking about being attainable, and I'm aiming for just there. That's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, that's great. And you get there and you think, right, I'm ready for the next level. Boom, boom. Yeah. You're doing the ladder effect. Because you're just going up the ladder.
The shows that I want to do, and other ones that I'm sort of planning in my head, I thought, okay, well, let's start with my home in France. People
Yes.
know me. They've seen me a lot live.
Yeah.
Let's do a show there. Let's see how many people I can get. Let's build on that. And if I can do that, then you know what? Maybe I can go to the next town. Maybe not the next town. I can do more.
Yes.
And I've got this link with Lincoln University, so I'll use that and build that community and make it stronger. So then you look at other communities you have, and the more you build on certain one community, you realize another one has grown, so you can push that community.
That's wonderful. That's really lovely. And what you're saying is just, it is self-belief. It's just believing yourself, and it's perseverance, isn't it? It's just continuing to do what you love. And it feels like that is your overall message, is to just do what you love, go for it, and just keep things in a very realistic, attainable goal. And at the end of the day, it's just because you really love doing what you do, which is to write, to record, to perform, and to connect. I guess it's the connection with people you're talking. But isn't that the world, isn't it? The world starts in little villages, and then before you know it, you're worldwide.
Yeah. It's, I think if we're talking, it's not an unrealistic goal, but it's the first big goal, I think, is to actually be able to say, I'm making my living out of music. That I'm earning enough out of performing, out of merchandise, out of listening, that I am able to say I am making a living. That is one thing that I will say, that's nice. Where I want to be.
Nice. That's a great goal to aim for. Definitely, you should be making money out of your music for sure. That's brilliant. Victoria, it's been absolutely lovely speaking with you. Really lovely to meet you. Oh, bless you. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And the very best of luck for October Girl. And I will play it if that's all okay with you. I think you're all right with that. And and just keep in touch. And the best of luck with everything you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Okay.